This is Gemara's Zevachim, Daf Nun Gimel, and we're holding on in Nun Beis and Beis at the Mishnah on the bottom of the Amid as we continue discussing the Karban Chatos. And today's Mishnah in reality is one in which we know that if we learn the Torahs of the Karbanos, if we brought the Karbanos, and a Chatos is the classical Karban that one would have to bring for an Aveira, so hopefully through the Limud Torah, we should be Zevachim to the incredible kapara that their karbanos bring. And once again, we like all the learning to be an incredible schos, refuah shalema for Gabriel Simcha ben Miriam Ahuva b'seich sha'ar chayli Yisrael. Says the Mishnah on the bottom of the Beis and Beis, chatois hasibur ve'hayachid. There's a chatos of the tzibur, the community, the public, and then there's the chatos of the yachid. Now the Mishnah articulates the following are the chatais of the tzibur: Seir Rosh Chadashim, the Seir of Rosh Chodesh, Shalma'adei Seven Tovim. Those shchitas basaf v'kivudam b'chli sharis basaf fine. And of course, as we keep on mentioning, this is all the izeu mekayman of our tefillos every morning that one could say. Now we're learning exactly what it means. But says the Mishnah, shchitas batzafan klivul sharis v'kivul dam, when you have to accept their blood, b'kli sharis batzafan in the north as well. V'dam tan arba matanais, and the dam requires 4 applications, 4 placements. Where al arba kranais. Ketzad, how are these matan damim on the kranais applied? Says the Mishnah as we turn over to Nun Gimel Amid Aleph. Alav HaKevesh, the Kayin who's bringing up the dam goes up the ramp. Ufana l'sayvev, and he turns to the ledge. Ubalai, and therefore he comes to where? L'karen Jaimis Mizrachis, to the southeastern corner. Mizrachis Sfainis, and now the Mishnah tells us what's the order. So he makes that right, and he goes to the southeast corner, and then he continues going counterclockwise around the Mizbeach to the Mizrachas Sfainis, the northeastern, Sfainis Ma'aravis, northwestern, and finally Ma'aravis Draimis, southwestern. And those are the 4 corners that he puts the dam on. Shiari Adam, the remnants of the blood, Hayashefech are poured al Yisai Draimis on the western side of the base of Mizbeach. When the Achalim, and this karban is consumed within the klayim, the curtains, literally, of the chatzar, lezichrei kahuna, to kahanim or males, b'chol machal, in any way they want to make the food, ad chatzais, and it has to be done, l'yoyim v'layla, ad chatzais. They have a day and a night until chatzais. So that is the chatos of the tzibur. Yes, I started saying that this is going to be relevant to us as the Mishnah began, chatos hayachid v'atzibur. But then the Mishnah goes and explains the precise dinim of the chatos hatzibur, the fact it has to be batzafain, kibul daman, in kli sharis, and the dam is placed on all 4 corners of the mizbeach, and we learned the order how we get there. And finally, how long one has to consume this karban. By one, we refer to the zichrei kahuna, the male kahanim, as they're the ones that are eating the karban. We have a day and a night until chatzos. Says the Gemara, Heichei Ovid. Heichei Ovid. How is the dam placed? We spoke about this place, al arba kronos. We spoke about the counterclockwise horns that it's put on. Now says the Gemara, how? Rav Yechon, Rav Lazar, Chadamer Noisin Amma. One says, Ilach va'ama ilach. He can place it up to an amma beyond the edge of the corner, and an amma beyond the edge of the corner on that side. And another shita says, Mechate v'yoyred kineged chudoi shel keren. The blood is placed down the edge of the horn. He takes his finger, and of course the horn refers to the boxes, the corners of the mizbeach. So he takes his finger and he puts it down the edge in between the seam, we would call it. So either he has up to an amma off of each side of the corner to place it, or it goes straight down the edge. Says the Gemara, Ali, but Rav Lazar Rav Shimon on the first white line. To Amar hi atzma inanas el begufa shel karen. According to Rav Lazar ben Shimon, who says that where is the chata supposed to be performed? Where is the dam's appropriate placement on the gufa shel karen, on the horn itself? The Kuli Amaloi Pliganon argues it's not going to be a machlekes. According to Rav Lazar Rav Shimon, everyone's going to agree that it can be anywhere a la Karen. There's no specific place for it. So what's this machlekes Rav Lazar Rav Shimon? Ki pligi aliba de Rebbe. According to Rebbe, who says that be'etzem the dam of the chatos doesn't even have to go on the kranais. It can even go on the upper part of the mizbeach below the kranais. So now the shaila is, how far does this go? Mar Savar, the first sheet holds Ameilach Vameilach, Keneged Keren, who, as long as it is opposite the horn, that is enough. Umar Savar Shita says, no, Keneged Chuda, in opposite the edge, yes, Tfei Loi, more than the edge, that would not work. So those are the two shitas that the machlokes works within Rabbi. Within Rabbi, that doesn't limit it to mamish to the Karen. So within Rabbi, where is the dam placed? Says the Gemara, Meisi, I'll ask you a Shaila. Shaila, this is going to be a kasha on the first mandamar. The mandamar that says it has to be within an amma. Says the Braisa, Chatos Asibar Vayachid. Keita. Matadam and Ayola Cabbage of Anla Savev. Ubalikarin Draimis Mizrachis. And he comes to the southeastern corner. So far this sounds just like our Mishnah. But now here it is where the Braisa articulates more. And he dips his right finger. The one that is most miyuman of his right hand, the forefinger, is what we are referring to. That Rashi says that which is miyuman, that which is the most chashiv, the most unique. So aside from the thumb, is going to be the forefinger. Min adam shabimizrak, and they place it into the blood on the basin. V'chomer begudalai milmala, b'atzbai kitana milmata. And what does the kohen do? He is precise that the blood should be, he guides the blood, with his thumb from above and his little finger from below. So he's holding on to his finger as he's going to be placing the dam. His thumb, if you look at your camera, you can see we're trying to demonstrate. The thumb and the pinky are going to be holding the dam, and you're going to push the dam onto the tip of the finger. So now all the dam is going to be coming off of his finger. Says the Braisa further, the Braisa says that articulately and explicitly, the dam is placed by moving his finger downward along the edge, opposite the edge of the keren, until shemechalek kol adam shebetzma, till all the dam's finger is used up. Achein kol keren v'keren. That's how he does in each and every horn. So what do we see? He's so clear in the Braisa that where is the dam placed? Not anywhere on the keren, precisely on the edge. So how does one shita, how does one Amayra say, no, it's placed anywhere within an amma of the keren? Explains the Gemara, 7 lines into the white lines, mitzvah bechuda. The Braisa is teaching us what's the shpitz, what's the mitzvah, what's the best. But then Banda Amar is saying, you're right, the mitzvah is on the edge. But you have a leeway, a liberty, a latitude, literally, that you could go up to an amma off the sides of the horn, and it's not a problem. Says the Gemara, let's dive. This is almost like a gufa right now. We're at the two dots, the middle of the white lines of Gimel and Beis. We just quoted a Machlekes Rebbe and Rav Lazar Rav Shimon, where the dam of the chatos is placed. We said according to Rav Lazar Rav Shimon, there's going to be no Machlekes, because the Ravada means anywhere on the Karen. And according to Rebbe, we said there is such a Machlekes. Says the Gemara, my Rebbe, my Rav Lazar Rav Shimon. What is this Machlekes? Did Tanya learn to the Rise of Mel Yodim? Ni tell me Chota Sikra Lama'alam. Upper dam is placed with the Chota Sikra, the red line that runs to the side of the Mizbeach and above. Divrei Rebbe. She does Rebbe. Rav Lazar Rav Shimon Aimer B'med Varim Amurim Ba'olas Ha'oif. Says Rav Lazar Rav Shimon, by the Olas Ha'oif I'm asking. The dam is either placed above the line or not. Aval B'chatos Behema. However, when it comes to the animal's chatos, he atzma, not the animal, chatos of an animal. He atzma nasis ella al gufa shal keren. That is shitas of Rav Shimon has to go on the keren itself. So where do these two opinions come from? Amar Ravu, my time with the Rebbe Dechsev says Rebbe, you know what the pasuk is? It's a pasuk in Cheskel. V'haharel arba amos. And the ha'arel is for amos, u'meharel ulamala v'goymer. Now the word ha'arel is referring to the mizbeach. So what do we see? Arba amos hudahava. What we see is, says the Gemara, arba amos hudahava is the mizbeach only 4 amos about the not. So what do you mean that the arba amos of the ha'arel? Amarav adabarava u'makayim krana is arba. What it means is umakam krainais was 4. Fraktimar, 1 second. Makam krainais dalad. No, it wasn't. It's really 2 by 2. Elaima rishos krainais dalid. The domain of the krainais is dalad hamois. The legal domain of the corners go down 4 amos into the mizbeach itself. That also has the status, the din, the keilu. It is called the keren. And that's where Rebbe is going to say that not only does it go on the kranais, but even could go underneath it, as within Dalet Amos of the kranais, it has a din of the kranais. Now, says the Gemara, let's go a little bit deeper into the most recent din quoted by the Brisa, the din of the Chota Sikra. 2 dots, about 12 lines to the bottom. Tananos, Chot Shal Sikra Chaygrei Be'emsa. This red line circles the midpoint. L'havdil to separate them el yainim. L'damim tachta yainim. Says Gemara Minahanimili. Where do we know that this is true? Minahanimili. From where do we know that's the Chota Sikra, and that's where it's placed? Amar Rav Acha bar Ketina shene'amar, says the pasuk, v'yisareshes hachatzi hamizbeach, that the reshes is until halfway up the mizbeach. Ha-Torah nas the mechitza. What do we see from over here? The Torah gives a mechitza to do what? To do what? Lahavdil bein dam el yainim l'damin tachtainim, and that's our makar for this Chota Sikra, this line that's going to split the Mizbeach in half. Shiari Adam, the remnants of the dam, go on the side, Jeroimi of the Mizbeach, said the Mishnah. Tanu Rabba, no, no, Mizbeach, Zay Yisoid Jeroimi. Timer Zay Yisoid Jeroimi, no, Eli Yisoid Maravi. How do you know it means Jeroimi? If you let me, it's also Minam Furish. Amrit, Yilamid, Yiridasim, and Kevesh. So says the Gemara, let's learn the going down to the ramp from the leaving Min HaEichel. When you leave the Eichel b'samach lai. When you leave the Eichel, where's the dam placed? That which is closest to him, which is on the Yisaid Ma'aravi, the western Yisaid. So too, Aviyudasim and Kevesh b'samach lai, and that's going to be on the southern side of the Mizbeach. Tanya, we learned in a Brisa. Rabbi Yishmael argues and said they're both placed on the southern Yisaid. So it explains the Gemara. Shimon Chayomer. So one said, the Rishmal said, Sima Ravi, I don't know if I said it backwards, on the western side. Rajbi says that he said Jeraimi on the southern side. So explains the Gemara 3 lines from the bottom. Beshlam Lamandam, you say Ma Ravi, because every lemon says minimum furash. I understand that. Lamandam, you say Jeraimi, my time. Where does Rajbi get his din of Yisai Jeraimi from? So Amar Avasi, Kosavar Haitana, Rajbi holds Kulei Mizbeach Safain Kai. The entirety of the Mizbeach is considered sitting by Safain, and therefore that's where the Rashim Bar Yochai is going to know that it's not going to go on the western side, but rather on the southern side, because the entirety of the Mizbeach is considered Safain. Says the Gemara, and again, this really harkens us all the way back to Daf Chaf Aleph, I think it was, and we had it more recently at the beginning of this parak, of the last parak, which is what which is what is called Safain. We are precisely is Safain just the area between the Mizbeach and the entrance to the Ulam. Safain include the Mizbeach area, Safain even the area underneath, and that's really where this comes from. Says the Gemara, Lishtachrin another lashon Kulei Pesach B'Darim Kai. According to the second lashon, Rashbi holds that the entire Pesach is considered Badarim in the south, and that's why the dam is going to be placed on the east side to Roimi. We turn over to Nun Gimel and Beis and continues the Gemara. Tana Devei Rabbi Yishmael. A Brisa teaches Rabbi Yishmael, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai Oimim. They said, the Talmidim said over the name of Rashbi, Zevi say Yisaid Ma'aravi, Simane Mashal Gavri Ligavra, both the Chatas HaPnimi and the Chatas HaChitzain, as we've been discussing, says this Brisa, it all goes in the Yisaid Ma'aravi, the western base. So now we're seeing, we just said it's Machlokes Rabbi Yishmael and Rishon Bar Yochai, but the Talmidi Rabbi Yishmael said, no, it's no machlokes. Rabbi Rashbi concurs with Rabbi Yishmael that it goes on the Yisoid Ma'aravi, and says the Gemara, what's the simin? Mashlu Gavri Ligavroi, that these men meaning the Talmidim of Rabbi Yishmael, pulled over the opinion of Rashbi to their team. Says the Gemara, the next carbon, Kachei Kadashim. Also, a zin of Kachei Kachim Shchitasan is where fourth line in Gimel and Beis Batzafam give down B'Chishares Basafam with Damatan Shein Matayin Nois. Now the Damas is 2 times Shein Arba, 2 which is 4. We'll see what that means, as we've seen already actually on the corner. Therefore, placing it twice, hitting 4 sides. 2.5 Shein to V'Chol Yishim, and you have to skin the animal, you have to dismember it, you got to cut it up. V'Cholil, and it's completely Lo Yishim, goes to the fire, a carbon oila. Says the Gemara, oila ma'itaima tanile kachei kadashim. Why does the Mishnah say that the oila is kachei kachim? Didn't say the chatas is kachei kachim. Didn't say the ashim is kachei kachim, even though they are. So why by the oila does it say such? Says the Gemara, Misha delok siv ba Hashem kodesh kadashim he, because it doesn't say by the oila it's a kodesh kadashim, which it does say by the Chatas and the Asham. So by the Chatas and the Asham, there's no reason to articulate it, but here by the Ayla, in which the Torah is not as clear, therefore, the Mishnah spells it out. Continues the Gemara 10 lines down, the Gimel and Beis, and the Dam is placed 2 times. Hechi Avid says where house is done. Amarav Noisin, V'chayzer v'Noisin. At each corner, it's put on one side of the corner, and then it's put on the other side of the corner. Says Rav Shmuel Amar, and therefore what? What does that mean? If it's placed on one side of the corner, then placed the other side of the corner, and that's Shtayim Shein Arba, means that Be'etzim it's placed 4 times. Shmuel Amar Matana Achas Kimin Gama. It's placed 1 time, like the Greek letter Gamma, which is similar to a Chaf, and therefore it's placed over the corner, and that's how you get Shtayim Shein Arba. Noisin Achas Kimin Gama Noisin. Says the Gemara, this Machlokes Rav and Shmuel is not a new Machlokes Kitanoi. This is an older Machlokes Tanoim. Says the Gemara, Yachol, quoting a Bryce, Yisur Ken Uzrika Achas. I would think that maybe the Kayin placed the Dam Oila one time, Dam Lamar Saviv, it has to be around. But Saviv, Yachol Kefan Kechot. I would think that he has to go around the whole Mizbech like a chot, like a string, Tam Lamar Vizarku, that it's thrown. And clearly you're not going to get it around everywhere with a throw, a Keitzad. So how is this possible? Says Shmuel, Kimin Gama. It's placed like a Gama. That's going to be Shmuel's opinion. Rabbi Yishmael Oimer, Nemer kan Saviv, Nemer Halan Saviv, Malalan Pisuk Varba Matanois. Just like above, just like by the Chatos, it's applied Pisuk Varba Matanois 4 different ways. Afkan, Shitas Rav, Pisuk Varba Matanois. But waiting, Malalan Arba Matanas Labra Kronos, Afkan Arba Matanas Labra Kronos. Amrit, Oila Tuuna Yisoid. An oila needs for the yisoid, and the v'kerem mizrachas dryim is loyala yisoid. So it can't be its place in all 4 sides. As there's one side of the mizbeach that does the corner of the southeastern corner does not have a yisoid, so it can't be what it means. Rather, what it means is all 4 sides. If I have a corner and I place it on one side, I place it on the next side, and so too on the opposite corner. So I'm placing it on 2 corners 4 times, but it's now all 4 sides of the mizbeach have had dam placed upon it. Now it says the Gemara, and the truth is, the Gemaras themselves have this picture, in case anyone wanted to know exactly what's going on over here. This is the picture, as you see, that the Yisoid does not go all the way around. We see from this picture how this side is lacking, the Yisoid is lacking that foundational box of the Mizbeach. But continues the Gemara, let's dive a little bit deeper to wrap up today's shiur. My time, what is the reason that there's no Yisoid on the southeastern corner? Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Elazar, Vishlaisa Bechelkai Shel Toirev. You know why? Because it was not in the chelik of the Toirev, the one who tears. It's not in the chelik of Binyamin. The Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Rav Yitzchak Mizbeach Oichel Bechelkai Shel Yehuda. It goes into the chelik of Yehuda, and that's why that area does not have a Yisoid. Amar Shel Yehuda Amma. Amar Rav Levi Bar Chama, Amar Rav Chami Bar Chanina, Ritzu Eisi Yitzaz Bechalka Shel Yehuda V'Nechasa Bechalka Shel Yamin. Shel Binyamin, excuse me. There was a strip of land that went between their 2 portions, one to the next. Binyamin Atzadik Mitzayir Aleh. Binyamin Atzadik was in pain. B'chol Yom L'Naila. He always wanted to get that extra part that's really in Yehuda's share. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, we turn over to tomorrow's daf Nun Daled Amud Aleph. Chayfev alav kol hayom. The Binyamin was always agonizing, always how he wanted this extra piece of Eretz Yisrael. Lefikach zacha Binyamin atzadik minaser ushpizchen HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Binyamin was merited to become a host of Hashem. Shenemar v'in k'seivav shachein. Stop over here, but we see an incredible detail that purely because Binyamin desired, he wanted more, Binyane Ruchnius. He wanted more, Chelik of Yushalayim, that created this matziv, that he was able to be in Ushbischin, a host of Hashem. Stop over here, we'll pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya.